Hello, and welcome to this week's Emerge 5. I'll be your special guest host today, and my name is Dr. Eric Cole, founder and CEO of Secure Anchor Consulting, a company that is focused on building out effective security roadmaps that actually work to protect and secure an organization. In this week's episode, we'll be looking at the top 5 cybersecurity trends for 2021, with the main focus of all 5 trends really being focused on the location agnostic that has been brought about by the epidemic. Whether we realize it or not, everybody's home has become a remote office. And the big cybersecurity trends, all 5 of them, revolve around this concept of we now need to be able to support a remote workforce where they can work anywhere, any place, anytime. And now, instead of having 3 or 4 main offices, if we have 50,000 employees, guess what? You have 50,000 remote offices. So this causes a lot of changes in what's happening in 2021. So let's go ahead and jump into trend number 5, which is where chief information security officers have to become a lot more strategic. I know some people get very mad at me with this prediction, but essentially what has happened over the last couple of years, which has caused major problems in cybersecurity, is the CISO role has been a promotional path for the technical engineer. You have these world-class technical engineers that are brilliant. They understand the protocols, the stacks, the appliances, the firewalls, everything inside and out. And after 10 or 12 years of being at the company, they demand or think they deserve to be promoted to CISO. Well, that's problematic because a CISO is not a technical position. And if it's just a glorified technical engineer, it's not going to be successful. A CISO is an executive that understands and manages the business of security from a strategic standpoint, which means there's 2 career paths. You can be a world-class security engineer and you can be a world-class CISO, but they're 2 different career paths. And the sooner that we recognize and understand that CISOs have to be strategic, understand the business, understand how the organization makes money, and use that to properly build a strategic roadmap, organizations are continue struggle with cybersecurity because we have to realize it's not a technical position. A CISO is a business leader focused on strategy. Number 4, focus on timely detection. One of the key mottos we always have in cybersecurity is prevention is ideal, but detection is a must. And let's face it, if you had a choice, which you don't, but if you did have a choice, prevention is ideal. We would much rather prevent and stop attacks than getting compromised and have to detect them in a timely manner. The problem is most organizations have come to a point where they are doing everything they can with prevention. They're preventing and stopping most of the traffic, but let's face it, no matter what you do and no matter what you put in place, you are going to be compromised. Because let's face it, if everyone is getting compromised, attacks are more advanced and sophisticated and breaking into any organization of any size, and you're trying to tell me that you haven't had a compromise for 18 months, it means one of 2 things. Either 1, you have special, magical, unicorn-grade security, which you don't, or go with option 2, you're just not looking in the right spot. So organizations that are going to thrive and survive in 2021 are going to start putting a lot of energy and effort towards detection. Whether this is setting up decoys for more timely response, whether it's threat hunting, to be able to actively find incidents in a timely manner, the name of the game is going to be all about detection, recognizing you are compromised and you need to catch the attacker before they cause significant damage. Number 3, reduction of perimeter. Most organizations have spent the last 8 to 10 years building out this robust infrastructure within an organization. So when somebody comes into the office and they plug in their computer, they have a very robust network architecture in place. In most organizations, prior to the epidemic, when you went to surf the web, there were 5 different architectural appliances that would analyze, filter, and track what you're doing. And when you received an email In most clients that I work with, you had 7 different devices that analyzed and filtered that traffic. So the probability of compromise was relatively low because you had all of this robust perimeter in place. And then what happened April of 2020? Boom. Just like that, all of a sudden, everybody is working from home. All of a sudden, you now have 10, 20, 30,000 remote offices that were never set up or designed to be a remote office. And all of a sudden, not only your perimeter, but your entire architecture is now gone. And now you have computers that are connected to the internet and game on for the adversary. So we need to recognize that having all of this robust infrastructure in place is no longer something we can rely on, because whether we realize it or not, a majority, if not all of your workforce, is going to continue to be working from home for the near future. This is the new normal. And organizations that are going to thrive in 2021 are going to recognize that it's not about the perimeter or the architecture anymore. It's all about protecting and securing your critical data. Number 2, thin client on the endpoints. We have always had a problem with protecting and securing our critical data. And what has happened over the last couple of years is we have been giving our clients, our individuals, our employees, contractors, and everyone who works at our organization these very fat endpoints. If you look at the average laptop that someone has today, it has 4 processors, 8 gigabytes of memory, and a 4 terabyte hard drive. If we go back even less than 10 years, that rivals servers that were in data centers. So people are carrying around portable servers, which just creates way too much exposure. Now, this was always a challenge, but prior to the epidemic, where these laptops at least were inside a building with a robust architecture and protection and scanning in place, it was not ideal, but it was manageable. Now with the epidemic, and all of a sudden, all of those laptops are at home offices with little to no protection in place and directly accessible from the internet, this has created a major problem with controlling and managing access to our data. So in 2021, the solution is we need to get better control of our data and information. And the way to do that is to remove the hard drives from all those local offices. Number 1, move to the cloud. In 2021, I think you're going to see even a bigger migration and movement of everything to the cloud. Now, yes, this has been happening for a while, whether it's Microsoft or Amazon Web Services or many of the other providers out there. Organizations have slowly been moving things to the cloud, but they've also kept servers in-house, and they've typically kept security and security operations centers in-house. The problem is offices, whether we like it or not, as we know it, a year ago is going away. Very few people are going to return to offices. They're going to be a lot different than the way they were prior to 2020. And it's just not practical to have a lot of servers, a lot of overhead, and a lot of people working at your company trying to manage and take care of those servers. So as we progress through 2021, we're going to see organizations moving everything to the cloud, whether it's core services, whether it's file sharing applications, even custom apps, and security operations center, and monitoring. All of those functions, in my opinion, are going to be moving to the cloud, which means not only is this opportunities for cloud providers, but if you're a startup company and you're not cloud-based or can support cloud-based customers, you might want to rethink your model, because this idea of having devices or appliances on-site, in-house, and being run by local staff, to me, with the epidemic, is a thing of the past. And in 2021, it's all about let's let companies that focus in this area, that this is what their specialty is, manage and control our data, our applications, and our security. So you're going to continue to see massive migration to the cloud as we move through 2021. Thank you for joining us on this week's Emerge 5. I hope you have taken a lot away from what to look at for security as we move into 2021. I am actively working on building out certification and training for chief information security officers. So I urge you to watch my Life of a CISO podcast that I do every week. And if you'd like more information on our training, please go to www.secure-anchor.com. Also, make sure you join the conversation at EM360 on Twitter and LinkedIn. Once again, that's the @ symbol, uppercase EM360 on Twitter and LinkedIn. And subscribe to this YouTube channel. And for more great content, head over to em360tech.com.